Trump shares video of Democrats, media figures insisting that Joe Biden is sharper than ever. We know the media has been gaslighting us for years. We all know that Joe Biden haven't been having his faculties for years. Back when he first started running in 2020, we knew this. I called it out. That's why he was running from the basement, running his campaign from the basement and blamed it on COVID. It was really had nothing to do with COVID. It has to do with him being in front of people for long periods of time that could show his mental acuity failing. So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna show the video. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from Legal Insurrection. They report that now that the election year is over, people are coming out of the woodwork to talk about Joe Biden's mental decline in recent years. The cover up of this was a scandal, of course. Mark Halperin recently suggested it's one of the biggest scandals in American history, and I would agree. Because the media, who's supposed to be speaking power to truth and calling them out on their lies and asking questions and being curious, seem not to be during uh, Joe Biden's tenure. But we cannot let Democrats and people in the media forget that many of them were active participants in hiding this from the public as best they could, right up until the moment when they couldn't do it anymore. Talking about the during the debate. Once the debate happened, they could no longer hide it. They could no longer cape for Joe Biden. Trump recently shared a compilation video on his Truth Social account that should be shared widely. It's so damning. Nick Aroma writes at Red State, who I love his work. He says, now Trump just dropped a brutal clip on Truth Social showing the breadth of the cover-up denial across the Democratic spectrum. All the people who protested over all this time, how sharp Biden was, how much energy he had, or how on his game he was. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre repeatedly claimed he was fine, even protested the nature of the question, saying she, quote, couldn't even keep up with him. It's hilarious how I mean, it's just crazy. I'm sorry. But DHS head Alejandro Mayorkas said meeting with Biden were tough because he was, quote, sharp, intensely probing, detailed, oriented, and focused. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi claimed, yes, the same person behind the effort to later shove Biden to the side, Biden had, quote, vision, knowledge, and that he was a strategic thinker. And she said that you could see Anderson Cooper looking at her like, are you kidding? Then there was Robert Garcia, Senator Chris Coons, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, Attorney General Merrick Garland, Rep. Dan Goldman, Rep. Jim Claiborne, Senator Chuck Schumer, and General Mark Milley. All of these people have a lot for which to answer on this. And that's just the short list. There were many more people in instances like what's the guy from MSNBC? Joe Scarborough was like, he's better than I ever seen him, pretty much. And if you don't believe that, F you. Remember when Joe Scarborough said that? Like, I mean, these people were relentless in their gaslighting. But here's the clip right here. Here we go.
Does the president have the stamina, physically and mentally, do you think, to continue on even after 2024?
Don, you're asking me this question. Oh my gosh, he's the president of the United States. You know, I can't even keep up with him.
The most difficult part about a meeting with President Biden is preparing for it, because he is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
I can testify because I've been working very closely with this president for the past 2 years. I've been knowing him for 30 years. And I'm telling you, this guy's tough. He's smart. He's on his game.
Joe Biden has vision. He has knowledge. He has a strategic thinker.
The president is focused. He's detail-oriented. He's always thinking about the big picture.
He is engaging
He is capable. He has an incredible record as president.
And I'm often with him on foreign trips. He's at the top of his
Look at her
game.
So he
face when
has
she
a
looking at
vision,
him.
he has knowledge, he has judgment, he has a strategic thinking.
I met with the president, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks ago, and he seemed fine to me.
I have complete confidence in the president. I have watched him expertly guide meetings of staff and cabinet members. I could not have more confidence in the president.
Lied under oath.
Just tell you that I meet frequently with the president, and every single time I meet with him, he is just fine.
Look at his face.
He is, again,
He's just fine. I mean, Millie, you can tell he was lying in that video, in that clip.
knowledgeable, wise.
Incredibly sharp, incredibly probing, incredible command of the details.
He is sharp. He is on top of things.
There is nothing to these challenges, these suggestions that somehow he's not sharp and he's not capable.
We see Joe Biden up close. We know how attuned he is to the issue.
And you're going to see how smart he is and the experience he has.
I say his age is an asset.
Aha!
He's wise.
Yes, he's wise. He has wisdom. He has experience.
And his experience, because of his age and his wisdom, has been invaluable to this country.
A lot of countries, people who've been in office a longer period of time are praised for their wisdom.
I have seen a lot of 72-year-olds not as capable as this 80-year-old.
It is hard for us to keep up with this president.
His mental acuity is great. It's fine. It's as good as it's been over the years. He's fine. All this right-wing propaganda that his mental acuity has declined is wrong.
And this kind of sense that he's not ready for this job is just a bucket of BS that's so deep, your boots will get stuck in.
It's hilarious, right? Hilarious that they would sit there and they would lie to us right in our face like that. And the media did not question them on any of that. It's just crazy. Let's see, where were we here? What happened to the video? Anyway, more from the Daily Mail. Jane Crawford, CBS's chief legal correspondent, shamed media that failed to cover his decline, mainly liberal outlets like the Washington Post, until the topic became undeniable during his train wreck debate against Donald Trump. Trump posted the video without any caption and made no mention of Crawford's comments Sunday. Crawford, who has been a regular on CBS News since 2005 during the year-end correspondence roundtable on Face the Nation, was asked Sunday morning what the most undercovered and underreported topic was this year. He said, that would be, to me, Joe Biden's obvious cognitive decline that became undeniable in the televised debate, she said, unquestioned. And I agree, because the media just fell in line with it. Didn't seem interested at it at all. They didn't seem to question, like, well, what about him fumbling and bumbling around going on here? What about him unable to articulate things? They didn't ask any of those questions. But the contributors cited the Wall Street Journal's explosive investigation earlier this month that exposed an extensive, deliberate White House cover-up to hide Biden's rapidly diminishing mental condition from the public throughout his entire presidency. The report alleged that Biden's staff limited his in-person interactions and that he was shielded by senior advisors who were put into roles that others felt the president should have occupied. People must be made to answer for this, and I agree. It was a fraud perpetrated on the American people, and anyone who asked questions was accused of spreading disinformation, right? And they called it right-wing propaganda, fake news, and all this other things. And when we were showing video clips of him fumbling and bumbling around, they called it deep fakes, and they came up with that term, deep fakes, and all that other stuff. Like, no, they didn't call it a deep fake. They called it what did they call it? I'm sorry, it escapes me. They escaped what they used to call it, and basically said we were manipulating and edited the stuff to make it look like he was doing these things, which was nothing was further from the truth. We didn't edit it. We would just show the clip of him fumbling and bubbling, falling up the stairs and stuff like that. It's just crazy how the media for so many years covered for this man, and it shows that they're complicit in this, and this is why they lost all credibility. No one believes in the mainstream media anymore. That's why people get their news from research on their own and alternative news and social media and stuff like that, because the mainstream media can't be trusted. And I love to see people going in and doing their own due diligence and not just trusting mainstream media like they used to. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.